What if we lived in a world without fear? A world where we weren't so focused on other people's opinions of ourselves because they didn't matter. A world where you can totally be yourself without judgment and without feeling like you have to shrink yourself down. I think we do live in that world, and I think that we create our own scenarios. Speaking from personal experience, I know that I am a little bit judgmental of other people, and in turn that makes me judgmental about how people see me. So the way I judge people literally affects how I feel like people feel about me. I feel like I'm constantly being judged because I am so judgmental. I've always been a people pleaser, and it gets to the point where I would even place people opinions of me above my own, which is crazy because I like who I am, but I've allowed other people's feelings about how I am to literally distort how I feel about myself, and I think that's crazy. It's just so much time caring about what other people think and forgetting to remember it's important how I feel. And this is me reclaiming my power. So follow me on a journey to becoming a micro niche celebrity with pretty much no following. I am almost at 10,000 followers on TikTok, but you have to understand, I built this from the ground up. I started with 0 followers on Instagram, 0 followers on TikTok, 0 subscribers on YouTube, and I am currently working my way up to becoming your favorite niche celebrity. How am I going to do this, you say? Well, first, I plan on being myself. That's why I'm recording this video totally just in several different takes, no editing or anything. I'm just setting the camera up and letting it roll and telling you guys how I feel. And I hope that somebody will resonate with this, and I know that they will. I discovered my passion for fashion a little later than other people. You know, when I was a kid, I wasn't always playing dress up, but I blame that on my mom. It's not really her fault, though. But I never really grew up wearing what I wanted to wear. Like, I see things now in the store, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have loved that as a kid. But that's why, as an adult, I go so hard in making sure I do the things that I love for me, because I didn't get to do that as a kid. I had so many different interests, and I always felt like it made me a little weird. I talked about that in my previous video if you want to go watch that. But it's just always been conflicted in my life, just my personality. I feel like I don't really know myself, but I know myself so well. It's actually crazy what I'm saying. And that's why creating fashion and DIY tutorials and everything that I do has helped me so much. It helped me unlock the creative side to myself that I knew was there, but I didn't know how to tap into it. I used to write like fan fiction books. I read some of them recently on Wattpad when I was like 15, and I read them. I'm like, oh my gosh, these were actually kind of good. That was another way of me being creative. I still read. I recently started back reading because I used to read so much more when I was younger. So I started back reading, but this time I'm reading fashion books. So it's like I'm trying to curate my own special aesthetic in my own niche and in my own way and taking my own time. That's the purpose of me making this video. Is one, a digital diary to have it all out there, and two, just so I can start talking and expressing myself, because I haven't done that in so long for fear of being judged, or for fear of saying the wrong thing, or for fear of people not agreeing with my opinion. But those days are over. You notice when I talk, sometimes I'm hesitant or I stumble over my words, and I blame that on all of my childhood and being a people pleaser. Like, why am I so caught up on the next thing I'm saying? I should just say it. But I blame that on always worrying about how other people feel. But this is a way for me to work that out. I know that I am a good speaker. I just have to find out ways to express myself without stumbling over my words, because what I have to say is important and it does matter. And oh wow, I think I might have just had a breakthrough on this video. Crazy. I had a coworker that I used to talk to all the time. We would talk about everything, like dreams, goals, religion, all kind of things. And it made me realize that what I had to say is important, and I'm great at talking to people and helping other people with their problems. So why am I not as good at helping myself with my own problems? Once again, it all goes back to me placing people's needs above my own, which has probably been the detriment to my entire life. But now I'm ready to become that celebrity, and I'm ready to have other people figure me out and have other people worry about me. I think that's what I deserve. And I'm at this stage of life where I don't really have many close friends. One of my closest friends lives in Chicago, which is like 13 hours away from me. And I feel like God has literally stripped everyone from my life so that I can focus on myself. And also, when I make it to wherever I'm going, the top is the destination, is the goal. I won't have anybody around me that's stopping me from being me, which is what I've had around me my whole entire life. Even my first relationship, I felt literally trapped in it because I was never truly myself. And I regret that to this day. I regret never truly being myself with him to this day, because if I was, there were certain things I never would have stood for. And I know that now. But I was young and naive, so we're going to chop it up to that. But everybody grows and learns from their mistakes. I feel like God separated me from so many people so that I can no longer depend on those people. I have to depend on me and see what's in me. I can't focus on, oh my gosh, how they're feeling, what are they doing. I was forced to focus on myself and how I feel and what I'm doing and what I like. And honestly, I'm realizing that in this moment. And I'm thankful for that. But it does get lonely. But that's where part 2 comes in. And I promise y'all, that's the saddest this video is going to get. I almost started crying, no tea. Step 2 is building your community. I make DIY t-shirt videos and fashion content on TikTok. And like I said earlier, I'm almost up to 10,000 subscribers. And hitting this milestone makes me realize that literally my world was so small. I'm from a small town, and it really helps me to see that just because those people where you're from in your small town don't like you or don't identify what you're doing or don't support what you're doing, there are literally millions of other people around the world, around the country, who are waiting to support you in your ideas. It's actually crazy coming from feeling like, oh my gosh, no one likes me, everybody thinks I'm weird, to having a group of people who are like, oh my God, we love you, we support you, you're so talented. And that has been the biggest mind F word of this whole situation. I started making t-shirts like tie-dye, cutting them up probably when I was in the 8th grade. And when I niched down and found a community of people who also enjoyed that is when I started to flourish. I can actually give advice in the comments. We can communicate and have conversations because we're interested in the same thing. And for the first time in my life, I am the one that's influential. A community is so important because it helps you see that there is a world outside of your own. And there are people who are willing to support you. It's crazy because I give the best advice to other people, which is why I'm trying to follow my own advice at this point. But I'll tell them, look, just because you make fashion content or you do lashes or nails or hair, you are the only person that is uniquely you. You are the only person that will have your own unique perspective on whatever it is that you're doing. And I promise you, you will find your community. You will find people who think you are totally unique and different, and they think that's a good thing. It's okay if you don't realize it, because I am almost 25 and I'm just now realizing these things, but it's all about growth. I do wish I would have somebody tell me this when I was younger, just to give me that little bit of encouragement and just make me realize it's okay. High school doesn't last always. Literally nobody cares about high school when you get older. It's about what you're doing now. And that should be the most important thing to you, making yourself happy. It all goes back to that. And when you're happy, you're able to build that community and you're able to inspire others. They can literally see your happiness and determination through you. That's currently what's going on with me now. And I couldn't be happier, honestly. When I go on TikTok and I see people telling me oh my God, thank you so much for this. We love you. You're such an inspiration. It literally flips a switch in my brain, because it's I have never even viewed myself as that before. So for other people to tell me that is truly something special. So figure out what you're good at and then build your community around that. It doesn't have to be online. You can start a book club, a yoga class. You can go to a yoga class, a book club, a coffee shop, art studios, or online like I post on TikTok and YouTube. There are always people with similar interests like you. Don't single yourself out by singling yourself out. Might not look like it, but honestly, it's so crazy that I am actually used to be so deeply insecure. So never judge a book by its cover. Never think there aren't people out there looking to build and people who are just like you. The third and final step of this video is going to be to identify and study your muses. Muses are important in any aspect of life, whether it's fashion, hair, whatever you are looking to pursue, because they give us inspiration and show us a way we can, and show us it's possible for us to be a certain way. I'm not telling you to copy someone or do what somebody else is doing, but what I am telling you is to pick 3 niches that inspire you and see what they're doing and see what works for them, and figure out a way how you can incorporate that into your style and your daily life uniquely. So say for instance, if it's fashion like me, I would figure out what clothing brands do my muses wear. Do they wear vintage or designer? How do they pick their outfits? How do they take their pictures? And I would just study that and then figure out how I can twist that into my own way of doing it. Not copy exactly what they're doing at all, but take inspiration from that and be able to express creativity in the same ways that they did. I study a lot of fashion media, like fashion books, movies, magazines, old interviews. I'll literally be designing something and I'll have Project Runway playing in the background just so I can see the perspective of other designers. You can also study like Pinterest, fashion designer archives. I have this amazing book that I got from the library called Soul Style, and it goes through the history of Black women in fashion, and I'm learning so much about it. And through learning much about that, I'm learning about myself and the things that I like. That's what I mean when I say identify your muse. And I also think it's perfectly fine for you to gatekeep your muses so that everybody else, so that it won't become too oversaturated, you know? Like, you should, once you find something that you really like and you really are inspired by it and you see that it doesn't have a lot of followers or it's very micro niche like me, I see no problem with keeping it to yourself. It's something that you love, and that makes this whole experience more personal, in my opinion. Maybe I'll make my next video about all my inspirations and muses, because I have so many of them, but now it's time for me to put all that inspiration into effect. Hence me making the video so I could potentially become someone's muse. Influencing is literally a cycle, and you have to be providing value and giving value to other people in order for them to find you important. Like, how are you helping someone else accomplish their dreams? In my opinion, that is the most important goal to being influential and being micro niche, quote unquote. So once you figure out your personal issues and begin to work through them while still being an influence, you're able to build a community based on that and your own unique perspective. You're able to identify your muse and take their inspiration and turn it into your daily life. I feel like you'll be unstoppable, and that's just what I'll be doing. So follow me on this journey to becoming my own micro niche celebrity with a fashion twist, because I do love fashion inspired. And we'll be on this journey together. Thank you so much for watching this video. This was my first time ever doing anything like this, and I hope that maybe at least a few people watch it and resonate with it. I have a beauty mark on my lip, so I've always felt like my gift was talking and speaking to other people and literally being a motivation. I used to call myself a motivational speaker. So now it's time to motivate others and breathe life into myself at the same time. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, or anything like that. Thank you guys so much, and I really do appreciate it. Bye.